just wanted to show you how to save your work. So let's say you've been working on your Inkscape file and you go File, Save As, and you're going to save it with your first name and your last name first. This has to come first, okay? And then you're gonna say like week 1 assignment, and I'll name the date. So it's 10/28. Let's say I was working on this on 10/30 because I think you guys are starting on a Monday, 10/30, right? So let's say it's 10/30. I worked on my project. I'm closing it up. I'm going to save it in my digital arts folder. Save. Okay? And then let's go ahead and say that you close it out and you're wanting to open it back up. Well, I know you guys have been conditioned and programmed to just go into your Windows Explorer folders, right? And figure out where you put it. Okay, so I'm going to go in there and find, I know it's under Rachel Girot. It says week 1 assignment on 10/30. So you would think you could just go like that and open it up, right? But guess what? Is this an Inkscape window? No, this is an internet browser. And guess what? Oftentimes when you open it in the internet browser, it doesn't look anything the way that it's supposed to. So that's not how to open up your files in Inkscape. Just want to make sure that you're clear on that. To open your files in Inkscape, rather, what you want to do is open an Inkscape window. So I'm just going to go File, New, get an Inkscape window, open, and I need to make that a little bit smaller so it fits the entire screen. Perfect. So I have to go File, Open, and now I can find my Rachel Girot week 1 assignment 10/30 and double click on that, and now it opens up for me in Inkscape. Okay, so now I can continue to work on this. And let's say I went ahead and I added some textures in my tablecloth and I'm ready to save it again. So I'm going to go File, Save As, and I'm going to save it under a different name. So I would just want to change the date. I'm going to say 10/31. I'm working on it on Tuesday now, okay? And I don't want to save over my old stuff because if I did make a silly mistake, like I accidentally opened a JPEG instead of my actual Inkscape file, I don't want to accidentally mess up and lose all my work. So I click Save there. Okay, but let's say that I'm done now and I need to export it so that I can actually see the image without having to open Inkscape. If I wanted to upload it to the Dropbox so that Mrs. Girot could see what it looks like, or if I wanted to post it on my website, or if I wanted to send a text of it to my mom, whatever, I need to go File, Export, Ping Image. Click on that. And mine is kind of hiding out over here. It's like minimized, so I just click on that and it opens it up for me. And I'm going to say Export As, and I'll find my Pictures folder, and I'll find my Digital Arts folder, and I'll just start typing in the name of my file. So it's Rachel Girot, right? And which one was it? It was the week 1 assignment 10/31. And it's not an SVG file this time, it's going to be a ping file. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete the SVG, and it will automatically add the ping extension. So a ping is an image that you can see. It doesn't have as much color, as many values as does a JPEG. JPEGs are more for photographs, and then pings work really well for SVG files. They don't take up as much space. And I'm going to go ahead and click Save. That's what I want to save it as. Okay, but I haven't exported it yet. Okay, that's just what I'm going to actually be exporting it as. In order to actually export, I have to click the export button. So that's a little confusing. I know sometimes students think that they've done that export as and they're done, but you're not. You have to click export. And when you're finished with the export, you can also click close when complete, and then you'll know that it's actually exported because your export dialog box will disappear, right? So I've exported it. Let's see what that looks like now that it's exported. Going to open up my Windows Explorer, and I'm looking for my Rachel Girot week 1, right here, week 1, assignment 1, 1031, okay? So this one right here is my SVG file. You're going to upload your SVG file, okay? That's your Inkscape file. It's got all your work in it. This one right here is a ping, and this one just shows me a picture of it. So let me show you how that's going to look when you upload it. So to keep this FERPA friendly, I am just picking a Dropbox from the class that we had previously. Your classes aren't actually loaded, and I can't pick one of yours. Dropbox you're submitting to, click it, and then you just have to scroll all the way down to the bottom until you get to this upload piece right here. And this is an old Dropbox, so like I've got some feedback in here. The student had submitted some files. They were bogus, whatever. That's why I'm using this one. And you're going to go ahead and just click upload. And go to your pictures folder. Go to your digital arts folder and find your file. Mine was Rachel Girot. Okay, I was doing week 1. My final work was on 1031, so I'm going to double click on that and notice that it's uploading, but it's not submitting though. It's just uploading. There's a submit button down here. I could write some comments. It could be any comments if you had some problems, whatever it may be. You can leave me a comment and I can respond back in my feedback to your comment. And so that's the SVG file. Okay, and now I need to upload the ping. Okay, so let's find Rachel Girot. Here we go, week 1, assignment 1031. This is the ping. I can see it. Excellent. So I've got my SVG file, I've got my ping file, and now I just need to click submit. And when I click submit, then the files will show up permanently in the folder. If you forget to click submit, guess what? They're not going to be there. Okay, so there they are. When you submit a file to the Dropbox, when I go into the Dropbox from my end, it tells me I have 2 new submissions, and I can go in there and grade those for you. Just a word of caution. Remember, if you're trying to see what that looks like, it might not look the way that it's supposed to, because SVG files don't open up in browsers. They're not intended to. They're only intended to be open in Inkscape. So on my end, when I open up these files in the gradebook, what do? I open up Inkscape. I actually save these to my folder, and which is the reason why your name needs to be on them. I save them in a folder. Your first name comes first because whatever the ending is, I want your files to be right next to each other. They will be if your first name is at the very beginning of it. A lot of students will try to put their name at the end of the file. Guess what happens if I save it that way? Your 2 images, your ping and your SVG file, will be in 2 completely different places in my folder. I want them right next to each other. So please save first and last name first. Okay, I save those to my computer, and then I open my Inkscape window, and just like I showed you, I go File, Open, and I look for your image in my digital arts folder. See under here where I've got like 2018? Yeah, I've got all my student images saved in here. I save all of your work. And then after I save all your work, I create a critique as well. And here's examples of my critiques from last block. Let's go ahead and do Friday the 13th critique of the Bezier tool drawing. Open that up, and I go through and I highlight student artwork. We announce winners at the critiques. You guys get to vote for a winner. We had a tie for winners on this assignment. Beautiful work. We talked about the standards and we learned how to do critiques. And then notice we have numbers here. You guys will get to see each other's student work that you submitted, and you get to vote for a winner. And then in the following critique, I'll announce the winner. Yay. So that's how this class works. Hope that's helped you to learn how to submit to the Dropbox and understand why I ask you to name your files that way, and the importance of renaming your file every time. And when you go to open up your work, please don't make the mistake of accidentally opening the image in Inkscape, okay? Because it will open, but guess what? When you do that, it doesn't have any of your work. I can't go in there and click on your glass. I can't click on your grapes. I can't click on your tablecloth. I can't make any adjustments to anything in there. Neither can you. That's the reason why it's really important to always open the SVG file. And I just keep going over this again and again and again because I want to make sure you realize the difference between an SVG file, and yours might look like an Internet Explorer or a Firefox depending on whatever your default browser is, okay? Just don't open your picture, your ping, your exported ping, or if you took a screenshot with your snipping tool, don't open that in Inkscape, because guess what? You're not going to get any credit for it. I have to see your work. I have to be able to go in there and pick it apart. I have to be able to grab your highlight and move it over, and your wine and move it over, and your grapes and your tablecloth and your table. I had to be able to pick this apart to see that, yes, this is your work.